What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie298 coming at you live, going through the power of the internet. For the last 15 years or so that this YouTube channel has been around, I've been encouraging people to use critical thinking. When somebody says something on the internet, when somebody tries to teach you something, you should use critical thinking because it's not always true. And I think it's more important these days than ever because the deep state lizard people that run this actual country, not the government, but the people that live inside the sewers and hide in there waiting for your poops so that they can steal the poops and implant them in aborted fetuses to turn them into libtard cuck trash.
And of course, as we know, everything is sexist and everything is racist, unless, of course, they're both sexist and racist. And I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting a country where a man can marry his dog to get free health care.
15 years ago, telling everybody to be critical when they think was a really smart idea. Taking everything that you're taught, everything that you hear, and picking it apart and looking at the finer details and the smaller details to determine whether or not the thing that you're hearing is true is a good idea in theory, but something has gone severely wrong along the way. In fact, there are people in Gen Z who are either pretending that Hellen Keller wasn't real or genuinely believe that Hellen Keller wasn't real. I can't tell the difference. Maybe it's because I'm a boomer, but either way, let's take a look at some of these videos and you can apply critical thinking to determine whether or not it's a meme or whether or not these people actually believe it. So I came across this TikTok video that I then shared.
I wanted to say Hellen.
So I became aware of this when I checked TikTok and I saw this video and then I shared it on Twitter.
I wanted to say Hellen Keller's not fucking real, and I don't care who you are, but she's not fucking real. Who the fuck, like, she wrote books? No, she fucking didn't. She's blind.
Now that led me to this video, which is probably the one that kicked off the trend. This was uploaded in December, and this is the video that I think basically convinced everybody to get in on this joke. Now, to my surprise, after sharing this video, the next day it just so happened to trend on Twitter that Hellen Keller was fake. So again, either a lot of people are pretending this is real or a lot of people actually believe it. But either way, people were talking about it on Twitter the next day. So here on Twitter is somebody showing Google searches for Hellen Keller, starting off with, is Hellen Keller real? Did Hellen Keller think her dog was a cat? And this led me to this article from The Guardian that breaks this down fairly well, basically saying that this is most likely a meme and hopefully a joke, but just like with a lot of these jokes, there's a certain amount of truth to it.
Her and that monster, Ann Sullivan, pulled the wool over our eyes, and nobody's thought to question it. Let me just ask you something real quick. Does this look like the signature of somebody that was blind and deaf? This is what they put out, and we all just ate it up. Oh, but they didn't just stop there. No, the perfect handwriting wasn't enough, because we ate that up, so they decided she was going to be a profound author. 12 books. That's not even a realistic number for somebody that has all of their senses. One would have been amazing. I would believe it if it was just one book. And they had to even go further than that. Writing was not enough for them. They didn't get enough thrill off that. So she apparently flew planes.
Now, the guy who made this TikTok said that it was purely satirical, and his account is purely satirical. But as we all know, there are people out there who just don't understand or grasp the concept of satire. So what we saw happen on TikTok was the group of people who do understand satire grabbing a hold of this satirical joke and running with it, making their own version of the joke. And then you see a handful of boomers like me getting suckered into it because we're too old to understand why that's funny. But at the same time, for every 100 stupid old boomers like me who do not understand why this is funny, there are also a lot of young people who genuinely take this as a seed of truth. There's some truth to this, right? Right? There has to be. How could both a blind and deaf woman write a book when me, myself, I'm perfectly able and I can't even get my fat ass to write an entire chapter of a book without taking a break to eat a cheeseburger and jerk off? Just like any good joke, I think that there's a seed of truth to it, whether it's just completely exaggerated or completely the polar opposite of what you actually mean. There are going to be people out there who are like, yeah, you're right, that's funny. But you're right, though. Hellen Keller achieved a lot. It didn't matter that she was blind. It didn't matter that she was deaf. Whether it was flying a plane or writing a book or just about anything else this woman accomplished, she accomplished a lot that a lot of able people just have not been able to achieve. That blindness and that disability can lead a lot of people who take this stuff seriously as to wondering whether or not she actually could have achieved those things. How do you fly a plane when you're deaf and blind? How do you write a book when you're deaf and blind? Certainly with some amount of help. But she did still seem, according to history, to have achieved these things. But for some, it's a little bit easier to just presume that there's some grand conspiracy, that Hellen Keller was faking it, all of her friends and family were faking it, there was never any evidence that proved that any of this was fake, and that she just managed to perfectly fool the entire world, and history has maintained that lie for some reason. But just like any conspiracy theory, once you apply logic and common sense to it, this stuff falls apart really, really quickly. The idea that any group of people is intelligent and capable enough to pull off something like this is so close to zero, it may as well be zero. And that's true of almost every conspiracy theories. I mean, people are idiots. People are idiots. We are not as capable as you think we are. Just about every single time we've tried to orchestrate something like this, it fell apart. I mean, think about it. On one hand, we have that everyone is so stupid and gullible that they'll believe anything. But then on the other hand, we have the same stupid, gullible people trying to put together a grand conspiracy. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to work. The human being is far too imperfect to pull that off. So now let me get myself in trouble because I'm going to tell you what I think about Hellen Keller's legacy. First off, do I think Hellen Keller was a real person? Yes, there's both video footage and photo evidence of her existing, so yes. Do I think she was both blind and deaf? Yes, absolutely. Medical science and medical records back that up. Do I believe that Hellen Keller, who is a blind and deaf person, was capable of doing all of the things that she has been touted to do, whether it's flying a plane, writing 12 books, or just about all the other things that she accomplished? And the answer is quite obviously yes, 100%. Never doubt the strength of the human spirit to overcome adversity. But do I think Hellen Keller is a legend? And like most legends, some of the things that she achieved, some of the details are left out, some of it's exaggerated. Probably a little bit, yeah. Take, for example, when Hollywood does a biopic, 100%, absolutely, they will change some of the grander details, some of the more minute details as well, to tell a better story. And that possibly could have happened here with Hellen Keller. And it's no surprise that a lot of the common knowledge, a lot of the myths, a lot of the legends that surround Hellen Keller actually came from a movie called The Miracle Worker, which is an over-exaggerated version of her autobiography. But obviously, that doesn't mean that Hellen Keller was fake. It doesn't mean that she wasn't disabled in the way that she claims. It doesn't mean that she didn't accomplish most of the things that historians give her credit for, like the Smithsonian. I mean, take a look after this video, go watch a Smithsonian video archive about Hellen Keller and get the truth. But unfortunately, for some certain people, this is something worth joking about. This is something worth making fun of. And for even worse, for some people, it's them wanting to run down a conspiracy rabbit hole where this woman possibly never existed. And if she did, there's no way she could have been disabled, right? I mean, she accomplished so much more than the rest of us have. That can't be possible, right?
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
Now, as usual, this is one man's opinion. I know I could be wrong, and if I am, you're going to let me know down there in the comments section below. If you like this video, drop a like on it, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can know when some more of my horrible hot takes have been uploaded. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I will speak with you again soon.